Hello, and welcome to the tutorial for the Overlay or Outliner 101. Again, this is a beginner tutorial, so I assume you're playing your first few games and you know nothing. And I'll just be going quickly over what you see here. This is later in the game, not much later, but it is later in the game. So keep that in mind. We're going to start at the top. And then I'll cover the outliner and then everything over on the left. You will notice my outliner is smaller than yours. That is because I use a mod called Tiny Outliner. I highly recommend using it. It is useful. There will be a link in the description so you can get this mod. Okay? Also, feel free to play the tutorial the game comes with. But just in case, we're going to go over this. So we're going to start at the top. We're going to start right here with energy credits. Energy credits are basically your cash to buy things in the marketplace, and it pays for the upkeep of pretty much everything. Okay? Minerals, excuse me, is how you pay for mining and research stations, and it's how you buy things on planets, districts, buildings, that sort of thing. That's minerals. Food is how you pay for population. Okay? And it's used to keep your pop growing. Makes sense. Consumer goods keeps pops happy, and it pays for advanced jobs. So basic jobs, real quick, and I go over this in Planet Building 101, is anything in the workers. Specialists are advanced jobs. Consumer goods are usually consumed in advanced jobs. There are some basic jobs, but keep that in mind. Alloys pays for everything in space. Space stations, starships, outposts, that sort of thing. And there is a difference between starbases and outposts. Influence pays for making claims. So again, building outposts, claims in war, claiming systems in peace. It pays for edicts. If you have an edict active, it pays for decisions on planets. And basically, there is some... anything you're doing diplomatically will usually have an influence cost as well. Unity pays for traditions. Specifically, these things. And I go over these in my tradition 101. Alright, and ascension perks. That's what Unity pays for. Science pays for tech. These are rare resources. Resources pay for upgrades to buildings, ships, some components in ships, upgrades to buildings, that sort of thing. Empire sprawl is a representation of how easy it is to run your empire. On the right is your admin cap. On your left is your current admin. That's the current admin you're using. Districts is amount of systems you own, the amount of colonies you have, and population all add to your empire sprawl. Having said that, you'll notice I am over. There is a penalty for going over. It affects, if you go over your empire cap, your empire sprawl cap, it'll increase the cost of technology and traditions and edicts and some diplomatic stuff. And it is not a massive penalty. It's not huge. My rule of thumb is if I have a 50 cap, I would not start getting worried about this until I were somewhere between 100 and 150. Okay? So you're looking at whatever your cap is. Don't worry about it until you're 2 to 3 times over your cap. Envoys are your diplomats. They are used for interacting with other empires, first contact situations, Federation stuff, espionage, and dealing with the Galactic Union. Empire population is exactly what it says. It's the amount of population you have empire. Starbase capacity is just your starbase upkeep. You'll notice I have a number of systems. Those are controlled by outposts. I have one starbase that is here. I can have a max of 3. If I were to build a fourth one, I would go over cap, and I would take massive penalties to both energy, and alloys, I believe. Try not to go over your starbase cap. Okay. Naval capacity is how many total ships I can have in my empire. Different sized ships use different capacity. Corvettes are 1, destroyers are 2, cruisers are 4, battleships are 6, Titans, Colossus, and Juggernauts, I believe, are 10 apiece. I could be wrong about that. I apologize. Alright, so I have a cap of 20. I am currently using 3. Again, unlike with Empire Sprawl, it's not a hard cap, but if I go over 20, the penalties to alloys and energy get very expensive. A little over, like maybe, 1 or 2 ships, not so bad. But if you go too far over, the penalties can break your bank. So try not to go over. Okay? Then there's fleet cap. That's over here. This is our tiny outlier. Let's just select planets, shipyards, individual civilian ships, and individual fleets and military ships eventually. Okay? A fleet over here is our command limit. And again, hover over things. They're really good at popping things up when you need them. Your command limit usage is how many individual ships your fleet can have. And so potentially, I could have 1 fleet of 20, right? Or 2 fleets of 10, or 3 fleets of 4, or 5 fleets of 4, or 4 fleets of 5. However I want to divide it up. If my fleet capacity were 40, and my command limit is still 20, I can only have 20 in a specific fleet. And again, how do I word this? Different ships use different amounts of capacity. So, you do have to keep that in mind. So if I had a naval capacity of 40, a command of 20, I could only have 2 fleets of 20. But you can't go over your command limit in a specific fleet. Right? Keep that in mind. On our left, we have contacts. These are the amount of species or empires we have met in our particular playthrough. Right now, we've only met these guys. The more people you meet, the more this fills up. Alright? There's a situation log. Okay? This is interesting things we've discovered in our empire. And important things in the galaxy we have. So, first one, situation log, will show us first contacts, excavation sites for archaeology. Let us know what our leader is aiming for, if we've got our precursors going, any interesting projects we've gone. Anomalies are just scientific oddities we've found as we've discovered them. As we research them and figure out what this anomaly is, it will turn into the situation log. And victory is just our score in the game. And if you play to the 2500 year on an end game, whoever has the highest score wins. Assuming you haven't wiped everyone out or conquered them or that sort. So keep that in mind. That is the situation. The market is where we buy and sell goods. Exactly what it looks like. Something to keep in mind is you can do rare resources here. Because I am not producing rare resources, I cannot buy and sell rare resources. I have to be producing it in order to buy and sell it. So keep that in mind. Planets and sectors. I honestly never use this. It just shows our sectors. So once you expand an empire, you can add sectors, delete sectors, that sort of thing. It's just an easy way to keep track of it. The expansion planner is an easy way to help decide where we're going to colonize. It keeps track of planets we've found and planets we've surveyed, just so we can see. You can organize by distance, size, features, name, that sort of thing. It's to help with that. Policies are essentially political decisions and laws your empires follow. Okay? So right now we allow robotic workers. We could outlaw them. Right now our diplomatic stance is expansionist. If we wanted to, we could change it to cooperative. Keep in mind there is a 10-year cooldown, so if I switch to cooperative, I can't change it again for 10 years, and they all have bonuses and negatives and change that sort of thing. Again, hover over, take the time to read, explore, experiment, have fun with it. Edicts are basically empire-wide projects you can enact. So, education campaign, recycling campaign. They last for X amount of time, and they usually cost influence, money. Some of them cost rare resources. You unlock them with tech, that sort of thing. Okay? Society management is how we access traditions, relics, and ascension perks. Okay? Traditions is just what our empire is going to focus at being really good at. Ship designer is how we design ships for our fleets. I'll have a separate tutorial for that, don't worry. Fleet manager is how we keep track of our fleets. Easy way to create fleets. Reinforce fleets, that sort of thing. Technology, how we keep track of our technology and how we decide what technology we're researching. Very straightforward. Factions, what factions might be in our empire. Again, I never look at this screen, to be honest. I just let things tick. Claims. This is used to start wars, essentially. Like if there were another empire over here, and I wanted this, I could make a claim on this system here, and I could use that as a pretext to go to war. Again, cost influence. Species. How many species we currently have in our empire, and this is also where you can genetically modify species or mechanically modify robots if you have robots in the empire. And leaders, exactly what it says. These are the leaders in our empire. We can recruit them, keep track of them, fire them, look at how old they are, that sort of thing. Okay, this has just been a 101 video, a quick overlook and slash overview of this basically overlay slash outline. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, feel free to check out some of my other 101 and 202. I shouldn't say that. At least some of my other videos. Or any videos I've done that catch your eye. And until we see each other again, remember to be kind to one another. See ya! Hello, this is Gohan the Chinchilla, and we hope you're having a good day, as do I. As always, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to follow, like, subscribe, or comment. Or, even better, come on over to twitch.tv/SparkyTDK and watch me live every Monday through Friday. Thank you for your support.